I'd be lying if I said I haven't been waiting and anticipating a day when Boruto finally decides to utilize Kakashi sensei in a major way. I know some of the previous episodes in the series, especially prior to the Kara stuff, we've seen him here and there, but since Kara started, which really feels like the meat of it all, because at the end of the day that's the biggest stuff canonically from the manga, I've been like, yo, what's going on? I remember reports from one of the mangaka, I forget if it was Ukyo Kodachi or Ikamoto, but one of the initial creators of the Boruto manga had said a while ago that Kakashi was going to be central to things, that they were going to actually have Kakashi be utilized in a certain manner, but Kakashi till this point in the Boruto story, especially again from the manga, ain't been really doing much. So this episode 211 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, was a mighty treat for Kakashi fans such as myself, but also in general just for the Boruto story, because again, where the hell is Kakashi? If we got all these crazy things going on, somebody that was prominent and very central to the story of Naruto, that is still around, still capable, still a shinobi, not being utilized, like fam, what are we doing here? Especially considering at some point he was the Hokage, which this episode kind of reminds me, because sometimes I do forget, like, wait a minute, oh shit, Kakashi was a Hokage for a certain period of time. But yeah, people, we gotta talk about this episode, because even though again it was for the most part, not entirely, because some of it was canon from the manga, but for an anime only episode they did a lot with what they had, and yeah, let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
So the episode starts off with Kashin Koji stealing information from somewhere in Konoha. He's stealing digital information at that, and it's kind of like, okay, so where are we going? This is going to be a Koji-centric episode, because think about it for now, like I've said it already a few months back, that Koji, he's kind of just been lingering around the village. He ain't been bathing. No. Koji just been around there, fam. So when we see him in this episode, I'm like, okay, so what is he doing at this point? Why is he still here? Why has he not left? Especially considering the whole objective was to retrieve the vessel, and we know that Jigen came himself in person to retrieve the vessel. So that's not his prerogative at this particular point, right? He's not there just like, oh, for the vessel, considering he didn't do jack shit when Jigen came to retrieve the vessel. And we see Ino-Shika-Cho, the new age Ino-Shika-Cho, Shikadai, Inojin, and Cho-Cho, and they're there at like a diner or something, like, you know, a burger stop, and they're speaking with Iwabe, Denki, and Metal Lee, and they're just talking a little bit about the intruder of Konoha and all the specifics that we kind of already know about Koji, that he is able to go in and out without being detected, and it kind of makes them think, well, okay, wouldn't that mean that this is like an inside job, that we got basically a traitor from Konoha? So kind of already a lot of the details that we know, but again, just showcasing that the new age shinobi are, you know, they're not complete failures that you would think, because they don't really do much and they're not at war and stuff, because that's always been something of prominent discussion regarding the Boruto series, and even within story to a certain degree, that because they haven't, you know, experienced war or any hardships, that these shinobi aren't going to be as, you know, prone to battle and as just experienced for that matter as some of the previous gen, because what is the hardest thing they gotta go through? Like, hey, yo, this test is really tough. Like, y'all don't got really some major worries. Like, the world is for the most part at peace up until this Okara situation anyway. And also, I ain't gonna lie, anytime I see Iwabe and Denki, like early on in the story, I'm talking about, because we're 211 episodes in, early on, like the first dozen or two episodes, I remember I used to be kind of excited, especially with the idea that there's a possibility Iwabe at some point may be Kawaki or something, and, you know, just in general, like, I was kind of sold in the idea of them early on. As the episodes progressed, as we went through, you know, the first 50, the first 100, the first 150, I was kind of like, alright, I don't care no more when it comes to Iwabe and Denki. I'm sure anime only people are like, no, they're cool, but considering I know that they're not going to have a pivotal role in pretty much anything, because they're not even included in the damn source material, yeah, when I see them, I'm always just kind of like, oh, can we cut from them now? Like, let's go. But Ino-Shika-Cho hunt down the initial hideout that Koji was in. Remember, he was kind of just like lounging around in that little water tower or something. Like, they go there, they find like a tablet, which I'm kind of like, really? Would Koji leave just like a tablet hanging out there? Like, wouldn't he destroy it or something? That was kind of a little sloppy. I was like, Yeah, that's the tales of anime only stuff. Sometimes they just throw in there because, especially again, they got to do things real quick for this new gen so they could figure out clues and stuff like that. But I was kind of like, why would Koji leave a tablet there? And along the way, they run into Kakashi Sensei, which again, when they referred to him as Roku Daime Hokage, 6 Hokage, I was like, oh shit, Kakashi was Hokage for a period of time. Like, you forget that. To be honest with you, if you think about it, Naruto is, a war hero to them, right? And of course, he just recently became the Hokage, probably was a favorite to become the next Hokage, but a lot of these kids, this generation especially, to them, the Hokage most of their life, if not damn near all of it up until again recently, was Kakashi. Like, we've seen when I believe it was the OVA of the day Naruto became Hokage, they weren't that much younger, maybe a couple of years at most of them being younger than what they are now when Naruto became Hokage. So pretty much Kakashi was Hokage as they were growing up. Let's just say the first 8 to 10 years of their life, it was Kakashi as the Hokage. So they probably look at him in a different manner. Like, that's the dude that was their leader up until just recently when again Naruto took over. But after conversing with Ino-Shika-Cho and them exchanging clues and whatnot, basically Koji sends them all on a wild goose chase, from Kakashi going to the damn sewer to look for him, thinking that he's going through there, to him sending the Ino-Shika-Cho crew through to the bullet train. Like, he sent them on a wild hunt, and I was just kind of like, oh goddamn, Kakashi, like, really? Like, he's outsmarting you at the very least up until a point, because eventually we realized, oh no, Kakashi is on his ass. But I was like, at first, like, he's really good at this. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's obviously technically not a shinobi because he's working with Kara, although I guess you could classify him as a shinobi. Either way, he's damn good at throwing people off his trail and making moves. And if I'm gonna give any credit as far as like what this episode provided, aside from Kakashi, that again we're gonna talk more about in a second, I will say that it was nice to see, Ino-Shika-Cho, the crews that don't get any coverage in the manga or just in general. Again, like, this is something that the anime likes to do, is give moments to the other teams that the manga just ain't gonna show. They ain't gonna show Ino-Shika-Cho, even though it's called Boruto. Like, we really only focus on Boruto and Team 7 and then like the adults and shit in the manga. So the anime utilizes opportunities like this to have Ino-Shika-Cho, for example, Shikadai, Inojin, and Chocho do something against like a Kara member, for example, like, they hunting down Kashin Koji. So stuff like that is like, okay, kind of cool, gives a little bit of character development for them, even though again they're not gonna be that useful because manga. However, Kakashi deduces exactly what Koji is up to, or at the very least where he's going, because he went to this like database where like all the info on shinobi is at, because apparently prior to the war, any information on shinobi prior to that is hard copied, everything else is digital. So essentially that first scene that we see of Koji getting data, none of it was useful in terms of what he was looking for, because whatever it is, it's supposed to be a hard copy, which right there, it should give you a little bit of a massive build up to a certain degree of like, wait a minute, what legendary shinobi is he after? What info of a person is he after if he's going to like, stuff about shinobi prior to the war, which is probably going to be an important shinobi. And Kakashi and Koji, even though it's short-lived, throw down, and it looked great. They actually did a great job for this, again, anime only moment. It's kind of crazy to think that they're utilizing Kakashi only in the anime. The manga doesn't do nothing with him. The manga damn near acts like he doesn't exist, despite the fact that he was prominent and very, very important figure in the Naruto story for 700 chapters. But we get to Boruto and he's not really utilized. So I was actually very appreciative and very happy to see him throwing down with Koji, using maneuvers. Also very, very ironic and very interesting at the same time to see he's fighting a masked man. Obviously, Kakashi's history with Obito Tobi, the masked man thing. So it's very ironic, and even further ironic, which I'm not going to spoil here, but in terms of the person that he's fighting and the identity of that person and just connection, it's just really, really crazy. And it worked very, very well for me, again, being a manga reader, knowing like, oh shit, they did something really, really dope, but yeah, I'm not going to know until the identity of this person inevitably gets revealed. Because even as he's attacking him, as he's saying like, yo, I'm about to take that mask off, boom, Koji escapes. And I was just kind of like, man, I would have liked a little bit more of that fight, I'm not gonna lie, because it was looking really good. And again, just seeing Kakashi doing anything in 2021 Boruto was really, really dope. I mean, who the hell, again, I can't remember if it was Ikamoto or Ukyo Kodachi, but one of you motherfuckers promised some Kakashi and it took the damn anime to do it. And things get a little more interesting as Koji, you know, he got away at this point. He's speaking to himself and he's talking about the reason he went for this information, because again, that had nothing to do with his mission. It was more so a sentimental thing of why he did this, which makes you wonder, like, okay, he was getting information about an old-time shinobi that existed prior to the war, and he's sentimental about this, and that's the reason why he did it. Who and what is going on here? Like, very, very intriguing stuff. I know anime onlys are kind of like, what's up? And then the whole stuff with Ino-Shika-Cho pretty much wraps itself up with Kakashi speaking to Shikadai one last time, which Shikadai is pretty much a mouthpiece, because at the end of the day, let's just keep it real. Shikadai is damn near Shikamaru's clone in every way. Honestly, amongst that trio, as funny as it is that people, you know, always like to shit on this character, Cho-Cho is probably the most interesting of those three. Inojin, lame. Honestly, Inojin, like, what does Inojin really bring to the table? It's just kind of like Sai and Ino meshed together. It's almost like fusion of baby Sai and baby Ino or some shit. I'm just not really hype about Inojin. Shikadai, as awesome as he is, at the end of the day, that's literally just Shikamaru's clone. Like, he's in every way just like his father. There's not damn near a difference with this character other than the way maybe his hair is slightly different or something. Cho-Cho is the one that she's a unique and interesting character that was not in the original, you know, Naruto. She's not a clone of her parents in any way. Like, she has traits of Choji, she has traits of her mother. I'd argue Cho-Cho, she's just mismanaged. Like, she just isn't utilized the way she could be, because even there was some episodes like where she went butterfly mode and shit that was really, really dope. They just don't utilize her properly, because again, she's the most interesting in my opinion of the three. She's just mismanaged. But Kakashi says that they have, you know, some potential, and ultimately goes back to lay down and put his makeout. I think it was like a different one. It wasn't Makeout Paradise, it was something else. He lays down and he's like, I got a boner, good night. Like, what the I mean, he didn't actually say that, but pretty much it's just like, we get some really awesome Kakashi moments for an episode, and it's back to just reading his mags. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, it's hard for me to be upset about Kakashi not being integral to the story, because at the end of the day, he went through so freaking much throughout his life, even before the events of Naruto. So it's like, you want him to be able to relax at this point. You want Kakashi, like, he went through enough, everything with Obito, Rin, everybody that he cared about being dead. Like, he went through a lot of shit, so ideally you want him to relax, but at the same time, it's like, damn, there's a lot of shit going on. Kakashi really could help. But the end of the episode gets back to canonical stuff from the manga, and by the way, the visuals in this episode looked really, really good. A lot of them, the close-ups of Koji, close-ups of Amado in the scene in particular, because Koji arrives back, and he talks to Amado, and Amado's like, yeah, Jigen it's kind of weakened right now. He's only at like 10% at being, you know, healed up and shit like that. And Koji's like, oh, well, you know, thanks for calling me here and giving me the info. And they announce, in particular, I think it was Amado that said, it's time for our plan to take down Jigen. And I'm like, what? I'll never forget reading that in the manga. I was just like, let's go. I don't know what's going on, but shit is getting crazy right now between this betrayal of Kara. Without spoiling it, I will tell you this. If you're an anime only, or you're just checking in right now, the next few episodes of the Boruto anime, episodes 212 to like 215 or something, are going to be some of the best episodes, as long as they handle them properly, because it's some of my favorite material in all of the Boruto manga, even up until this point. It is just great. It's going to be great. And this episode, the way they handle things is like, yeah, you're using some characters that I'm not particularly that interested in. Again, like the next gen that don't really get utilized that often. I'm not gung-ho about it. I think it was cool to give them some moments. Kakashi was, you know, one of the highlights, having him fight against Koji, one of the members of Kara. Again, considering they don't do shit with Kakashi and Boruto. And yeah, I really, really liked that battle that they had. The art and animation in this episode was pretty damn good. And the end, the setup of the betrayal of Kara leading back into canon stuff from the manga, shit is getting better and better. You should be watching Boruto. Shit is hype right now. But I'm curious what you guys thought about this episode. For starters, how did you feel about seeing Kakashi again? For especially OG Naruto fans that, you know, you've been with Kakashi for so damn long. He ain't getting no love in Boruto. To see him actually doing something, them utilizing him to have a battle and, you know, hunt down Kashin Koji. What do you think of that? What do you think about him fighting a masked person that was looking into shinobi from the past? Your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on the episode as a whole? And what are your expectations for this whole thing, this betrayal of Kashin Koji and Amado to Jigen and the Kara? It's about to get real. These are about to be some of the best episodes within the next coming weeks, so get freaking hype. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yo, shout outs to Kakashi Sensei. Boy, it was nice to see Kakashi again. Hey, Ikamoto, whoever's working on the manga at this point, you might want to, go back to something that y'all mentioned a while ago and have Kakashi be useful. Who knows? Maybe they're saving that for the time skip. I don't know. Have an awesome day.
So just go.